Okay, so it's pocketgamer.biz. We're travelling the world. We're in Brighton for the Develop conference. The first day's gone. We had the Evolve conference to Develop tomorrow, and we've come across a famous author in the world of free-to-play games, Mr. Will Luton.
Yes.
How are you, Will? How's it going?
I'm very well. Yeah, I've had a lovely day in the sunshine.
So you've written a book.
Correct.
Came out like last week, 2 weeks ago. Recently.
Yes. Yeah. It's a staggered worldwide release.
What's the name of your book?
It's called Free to Play: How to Make Money from Games That You Give Away.
Okay. And what is your book? How does that book onion skin like unpeel the free-to-play monetization model? Why should people buy your? Basically, what you're saying. Why is this the book to have?
So the book itself is the complete book on free-to-play, and it breaks down into 5 chapters, and those 5 chapters give you building more and more upon a basis of the very theory behind why the business model exists, and then goes into how to actually monetize or how to make money from and operate a free-to-play game based on that. So initially you start with the economics. The first chapter is economics, so the first of 5.
You start off, I've read the book, and we have acronyms, so a few of those. We have
exactly. Yeah. Or even before that, it's a little bit of economic theory about actually what's the difference between a physical and a digital good, and how does that change the market. And actually, free-to-play itself is a necessity of a digital market, I believe. Then we talk a little bit about the acronyms, as you say, some of these ARCDAO, ARCMAO, all of these things that you've heard, and if you've been to a conference, that you will be very, very aware of, the Silicon Valley buzzwords.
And it's kind of, so obviously we're all about mobile, but you take a slightly wider kind of range of kind of approach to it. So I think it's like 3 games you look at as kind of touchstones.
Yeah, so the book itself is platform agnostic. I don't ever really talk about individual platforms because I believe that free-to-play will eventually end up existing across all platforms and anything, so whether it's digital delivery. But there are 3 examples in the book which are referred to time and time again. The first one being Farmville, which is just synonymous with free-to-play. It's so well known and widely regarded as an archetype for free-to-play. Then there's also Bejeweled Blitz, which is something which is a little bit more unusual. It's across multiple platforms, it's mobile and web, and that itself has a much more classic arcade feel to it. And then finally there's Dungeons & Dragons Online, which is more like an MMO, a classic PC hardcore type of game.
Yeah. And so I guess kind of read the book and you kind of see kind of how the industry was kind of built up and kind of where the kind of the push points are. Where's free to play going now? I mean, there's like an economic basis of basically paying a certain amount of money for currency. At the conference today, we've been talking about aggressive monetization, and there's still a bit of backlash there. But I mean, are we still in the early days? Are we maturing now? Where do you, as a kind of game designer, kind of consultant person now, where do you kind of see the next interesting stuff happening in free to play?
All over, right? It's going to just become bigger. It's going to become more accepted widely, and it's
accepted is the thing. I mean, the hardcore guys still hate it. Even on Twitter today, there was like guys who tweeted from the conference, "Free to play, evil." I mean, is that ever going to go away?
Yeah, it will go away. Yeah, I mean that's nonsense, right? I mean it's unsustainable to call free to play evil forever, right? It will disappear eventually. So I think it will become the dominant model. I mean, paid's not going to go away. This whole kind of rivalry between free to play and paid is ridiculous, right? They're 2 business models and they both function and they both have advantages and disadvantages. There's no doubt about that. Free to play has drawbacks. It's harder to make money from it. It's harder to think. It affects the design. There's much more thought that needs to be put to a product which is free to play than a paid product. It's easy just to design a game and put it out and put a price tag on it. It's not simple, but it's easier.
I think that's the kind of thing. I think in the last couple of years, maybe not so much now, but a lot of people thought free to play was easy. I mean, I think Farmville was the example where you kind of thought, you just kind of create a very simple game and you just make loads of money.
Yeah.
And that's clearly not the case now at all.
It's not, and I think that free to play more than any other business model necessitates a good game. If your game is not good and people are not coming back and loving it and kind of really enjoying it, then they're very unlikely to ever spend any money in it. And if they're not spending any money in it, then the game fails. Where years ago, the paid model, or even today, it's about the promise. If the promise of the game is good enough and you can get people into the game and they've paid the money, then you've proven you've been successful. Whereas free to play is much more about proving that you've got a game that the players want to come back to and want to love and want to spend money in. I hope.
Cool. Good. Lovely. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.